So, when you think of Bitcoin, what comes to mind? Probably lines of code, right? Or maybe a digital wallet on your phone. But behind all that digital stuff, there's a massive, physical, and seriously power hungry industry that's literally reshaping energy markets across the globe. And the key to understanding it, well, it might not be what you think.
Take a look at this. This isn't just infrastructure. This is the front line, the battlefield, really, of a new kind of global competition. A race for computational power that's happening 24/7 all around the world.
And that brings us to the real question, the one that changes everything. What if the most important weapon in this digital arms race isn't silicon, but the raw power that feeds it? All right, so to really get our heads around this, we need to talk about the sheer scale of this competition, this global race to mine new Bitcoin. Okay, look at this number, 1.051 zettahashes per second. I mean, it's a ridiculous number, but what does that even mean? Well, a zettahash, that's a 1 with 21 zeros after it. We're talking 1 times sextillion calculations every single second. To put that into perspective for you, the Bitcoin network performs more calculations every second than there are grains of sand on every beach on Earth. Just let that sink in for a minute. It's an insane amount of computing power. And all of that power, every single one of those calculations, is part of this massive global arms race. You've got computers all over the world, all racing to solve the same super complex puzzle. The first one to crack it, they win a fresh block of Bitcoin. So, the more hash rate, the more computing power you have, the better your chances are of snagging that prize. Okay, so if you're in this crazy global race, burning through all that energy, what's your number one advantage? Your secret weapon. It's not just having the fastest computer chips, it's the cost of the fuel. And that fuel, it's electricity. And this chart, wow, this really lays it all out. Just look at the difference. You've got a proposed mine getting power for just 2 cents per kilowatt hour. Compare that to Qatar, which is already known for cheap energy, and then look at the global average of 15 cents or more. This isn't a slight edge. This is playing a completely different game. And this is why it matters so much. Here's a quote from an actual investment proposal. It says, "This low-cost power agreement significantly insulates the operation from volatility." Basically, they've taken the single biggest risk in the entire mining business, swinging energy prices, and just wiped it off the table. You've locked in your profit from day one for years to come. Okay, so let's get practical. Let's see how this all works in the real world. We're going to dive into a case study of a brand new mega mine that's being built as we speak. When you boil it all down, building a world-class mine really comes down to 3 things. It's a simple but powerful formula. Pillar 1. You got to get that ultra-cheap power. Pillar 2, you build the massive campus, the infrastructure. And Pillar 3, you fill it with the absolute best, most efficient hardware. You nailed those 3, you've basically built a machine that prints money. And here's what that infrastructure pillar looks like. We are not talking about a few computers in a garage here. This is a blueprint for a 47-acre campus. The scale is just huge. Everything here is designed for one thing and one thing only: to mine Bitcoin with maximum efficiency. All right, now for the tech. This is what you fill that campus with. These are the specs for the Ferraris of the mining world. Each one of these little boxes can pump out 300 trillion calculations per second. But here's the real magic number, the one at the bottom: energy efficiency. That's the key. It tells you how much bang you're getting for your buck, how much hash rate you get for every watt you burn. In this game, efficiency is everything. So okay, we've got the power, we've got the buildings, we've got the tech. Let's put it all together and see what the payoff looks like. How does this all turn into actual profit? Check out these numbers. And remember, this is just for the first phase of this new mine. They're projecting they'll generate about 135 Bitcoin a month. At today's prices, that's nearly $15 million in revenue. Now look at the cost to power the whole thing, less than $1.5 million. So that leaves you with a gross margin of over $13 million every single month. And look, I know what you might be thinking. These numbers sound made up, right? But they're not. This slide compares our project's projections side by side with the actual numbers from CleanSpark, a huge publicly traded mining company. You can see CleanSpark uses about 8 times the power, and guess what? It mines a pretty proportional amount of Bitcoin. This proves the model works. It's not just a theory, it's a predictable, scalable business.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Just when it seems like the Bitcoin mining model has been perfected, the game is starting to change. For the really big players, a whole new and maybe even bigger opportunity is right on the horizon.
So what if mining Bitcoin isn't the end game anymore? What if it's just step one? What if it becomes a way to pay the bills while you build something even more valuable, something the modern world is desperate for? And this isn't just me talking, this is Wall Street catching on. A recent report from JP Morgan, look at this. It basically says that the market is starting to value these companies not just as miners, but for their potential in high-performance computing, or HPC. So this is the new playbook, the real endgame. Think about what these companies have built. They've secured two of the most valuable assets on the planet right now. One, massive amounts of dirt-cheap power, and two, the giant data center infrastructure to use it. And it turns out that exact same setup is perfect for powering the hungriest technology out there, artificial intelligence. Which leaves us with one last really big question to think about. After this decade-long digital gold rush, what if it turns out the real prize wasn't the gold itself? What if the real prize was controlling the shovels, the land, and most importantly, the power to fuel whatever AI-driven tech revolution comes next?